So I thought I would take you through a full glute day. So Monday is a glute day, so is Wednesday, and so is Friday. So I thought I would film my first ever YouTube workout. Now, if you've been following my Instagram, you will see a lot of training content. Training has been a way of life for me for the past, I want to say, over like 10 years. So let's get into how I'm actually going to grow my glutes, how I'm going to continue to develop my glutes, and what exercises work for me. So on a Monday is the only time that I train my calves now. Calves are important. They do create a good basis, and also you walk a lot. Sorry. So it's really important that I'm training my calves now. New science suggests that training your calves standing will create maximum muscle gains. I don't know if that's true, but I was reading about the literature. So that was my first movement. Then moving on to my kickbacks. Now, you can see I've placed the kickback quite high, and I'm also standing on a plate. I've placed it quite high because I have really long limbs, like really long limbs. I'm 5'7.5". So what I use as a setup won't necessarily work for a 5-foot person. So it's really important to remember that when you are kicking back, I know that I need that glute med. So like my side shot needs work. So it's really important for me to be really focusing on that mind to muscle connection, because that's something I need to develop. So I use a stirrup as opposed to a cuff. It's much more comfortable. I can get more load, and I find my connection to my glutes a lot better. So obviously I do my weaker side first, my weaker side being my left side. Personally for me, probably because of excess posing, it's a dominant side, and then I go on to my right side. You'll also notice that I'm in Converse. Now, the Converse for me are a flat shoe, so when you are training legs, when I broke my foot, I had to train in Nike shoes because of the imbalance. But then as soon as I am obviously healed, I'm back to training in Converse. So training in Converse for me is the most comfortable. I have some clients in Vans. I have Vivo barefoot, any flat shoe so that you can connect to the floor. Now, when I am kicking back, I'm really controlling my set. So I'm controlling right from the kickback all the way to extension, and then all the way back. And then I'm feeling my glute as I'm working that. So it's really important for me to make sure that I am having that mind to muscle connection. Then we move on to the abductor. Great filming, the fact that I cut out my full head, but we learn. So when we are using the abductor, it is so important that you find the range of motion that works for you. I was a dancer, therefore my flexibility is, I would like to think, quite good. So for me, making sure I'm controlling all the way out and then controlling all the way in. I think it was Chloe Pickford that said, think about squeezing with your thighs. And ever since she said that, it works for me. That cue works for me. So I'm thinking about controlling and not driving with my feet, but driving with my thighs so that I can really feel the side glute. And then I am taking a micro pause in the extension, I believe, and then I'm never letting the two legs touch. So I'm never resting. I'm keeping constant tension throughout the whole of the workout. So I do a mid-range and then I'll do a heavier set. Now my heavier set, I'm actually leaning back. Now I'm finding that firstly, it's a lot harder. And secondly, I'm finding it to be a lot better for a different part of my glute med. So that works for myself. I have some clients that I say to sit on a plate if they're shorter. Not every machine is going to fit you, and that's what you need to remember. You need to remember that every machine is built differently. And I know that I'm quite tall, so I might have to adjust, for example, lean back to make sure I can get that maximum stretch. Now we move on to the barbell hip thrust. So with the barbell hip thrust, it's one of my favorite movements. I cannot begin to explain the excitement and the anxiety that I get when I do the barbell hip thrust, which sounds completely not okay, but for me, I just thoroughly enjoy it. And when I was last off season. I got up to 7 plates, but now we're all time under tension, taking it slowly, not chasing load. Sometimes you just get so excited. So I knew that for my working set, I had to hold it. Now, big thing for myself is when I know that I've maxed a rep range. So for example, if I get 9 or 10 and my rep range is 9, I'll film it, send it over to boss. He'll give me feedback. So he told me to hold it last week. It still felt quite heavy this week. It didn't feel easy. So I made sure that I could work on that form. And for me personally, I know that my setup is slightly a little bit longer. So I'm going a little bit away from myself, but that works better for my biomechanics. And you'll notice that more and more training that you watch, everyone trains in a different way because everyone is built differently. And that's something that is so important to remember, that what works for one person isn't going to work for the other. Now I've got one set of leg press and I take a 2-second pause at the bottom. Now the only reason why I only have one set of leg presses, I was leg pressing in January or February, and for like 4 or 5 sessions I was getting a really strong shooting pain, and I ignored it, as we all do. I ignored it for like 3 sessions, and then it became unbearable and I had to tell my coach. So we dropped the load right back, and instead of chasing load with this, I'm now chasing pauses. So I'm pausing for 2 or 3 seconds in the hole, and I'm controlling the whole range of motion. For myself, I absolutely can say my faults. I never was able to get that depth. So firstly, I needed to find a leg press that would work for me, being so tall, so I can have a seat adjustment. And secondly, it was learning how to press and brace, because I felt like I never knew how to brace. I know for myself, keeping the foot higher on the platform is more, for myself, glute bias. If you keep it lower, it's more quad bias. So this is something that you have to remember where you're targeting. So I really do enjoy leg press, but I know single leg press is better for me, and I can also work on my range of motion alongside my depth a lot better. I really do enjoy training, but I'm trying to improve the skill. I love chasing load. My coach knows I like to get strong, but that doesn't necessarily equate to maximum muscle. So I knew that I know that I need to grow. So to enable me to grow, I need to make sure that I'm really being precise with my training, but also finding ways to challenge myself, not through load. So progressive overload, as we will talk about, can be time under tension, like I've done in the leg press, reps, weight eventually, form. It can all be improved as long as I'm improving session to session. I think that's the most important. Now, barbell RDL. We tried the dumbbell RDL. I can't get above holding 38s. My wrists just can't handle it. So I maxed the 38s out. Then we went to the hex bar RDL. And then I was traveling a lot. And I went back to the barbell and I was like, I just need to get good at the barbell. That's what I need to do. So I told my coach, oh, we're going to do barbell. I'm not going back up to 130 kilos. We need to maximize the form first. So for myself, it's all about the bracing and retracting my shoulders back and using my back. For me, that's where I'm going to see the most amount of gains for my glutes, my hamstrings, my tie-in area. I feel my whole posterior working. I'm actually looking at the video right now. I'm thinking I've made a little bit of growth. You'd hope. But for myself, it's really important to focus on that bracing, because that's something that I've lacked. I never got taught how to brace properly, and that's something that I'm having to learn over nearly 10, well, longer than that, 14, 15 years being in the gym. I know that I need to work on bracing. So I do one working set, one back off set for an RDL, and by the time that session ends, I'm done. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a subscribe. If you want to see more training content, please let me know, because I will happily do it. And there'll be much more coming in the growth era, which is a series that I'm dedicating to growing myself. And whatever you'd like to see, please leave a comment down below. But I hope to see you next time.